Alright. Okay, this is Just Call Me CJ.
I'm Mark Allen. What's up? How y'all doing today?
All right, we here for episode 3. And in my opinion, today we're talking about relationships. This is a big topic. I was trying to stay away from this topic to be 100% with y'all, just because I don't know. I just feel like that's something that's just so.
It's a sticky subject, and everybody got their own opinions about how relationships should go or what it should be. But,
yeah, absolutely, for sure. So, Marquise, we last were talking about the generational wealth gap. Right. And then we kind of transitioned a little bit into the fact that Black women, we are the highest paid. We're not the highest paid, sorry. We are the most educated, and we are the top entrepreneurs right now. But we've seen the statistics saying that Black women don't get married.
Right. Y'all are single.
We single. Well, not we, but not playing. No, we single.
No, y'all not getting married.
Why? What's the problem?
No. I'm gonna let you tell them, and then we're gonna talk about why.
All right,
why
so
that
I'm gonna
is.
put this over in the middle. They can see both of us a little bit better.
Okay.
But why it is just because there's a couple different things. We talked about the alpha male dating the alpha female, and how sometimes in contrast that the alpha male is not willing or has a power struggle or ego that's saying that he does not want a woman who makes more. And on the backhand of that, an alpha female having unrealistic expectations or just not being able to say, I'm going to lower, I'm not going to say standards, but if I make this much money, I'm not going to date somebody who makes less than me.
Right. I mean, so the money aspect, I think that's where men and women tend to disagree a lot. Because I don't think, for me, I'm cool. For me, if I meet a woman, she make more money than me, cool. I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. We just going to live off your, we're not going to live off your money, but we're going to both work together. I'm not going to let my ego get in the way of us both bringing that money. But to say that women that make more money, they do have super high expectations. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, the guy that makes the same amount of money as them that we call quote unquote alpha male or alpha female, the alpha male is not necessarily looking for an alpha female. He wants somebody that's going to pretty much fall in line, because the alpha female she's going to challenge you, not to say that any other female won't, but she's going to challenge you in a different way, where alpha male, he's like, I'm out here, I'm doing this all day, every day. I just want to come home. I just want you to kind of cater to me in a way.
Okay, them traditional gender roles.
Right, the traditional gender roles that a lot of people now don't like. So, I mean, so in the mindset of an alpha male, it would be like, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm earning all the bacon, I'm making all the money. I would just want to come home. I want to relax. I want my food here. I want my kids taken care of. I want this and I want that.
Okay.
And there's some women out there that are willing to do it, and then there's some women that aren't. So I think if we come to an understanding and a realization, especially for women, if you realize that, hey, if you want to be this, you might have to tame it down a little bit if you want to be an alpha female and then expecting this alpha big dog male.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm an alpha female.
Right.
I definitely feel like I'm an alpha female. And when we talk about the word being submissive, because me and my female friends, we talk about that all the time. There's no problem with being submissive if you going to lead me somewhere. Right. So as an alpha female, I'm not submitting to somebody who just not going to lead me anywhere. Right. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And I just feel like realistically, in this day and age, it's not realistic for women to stay at home and just cook. Like... No.
Not at all.
You have to have a 2-income household. You have to. It's just not realistic. And I think, too, when we try to transition in, so we talk about our age back in millennials, that we had this expectation of, everybody need to be taken care of. Like, he should be able to take care of. And I'm in the perspective of, don't ask for a man to buy you nothing you can't afford yourself.
Right. Right. I mean, yeah, because you see on social media, you got this and you got that. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, everybody on social media said that a power couple was like a woman that's a stripper and a dude that's out there selling drugs. Like was everybody's ideal power couple. And I'm like, that's just not realistic. But now it's kind of looking like women want a guy with this humongous house, humongous mansion, and they just want to move in and chill.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them. And my thing is just growing up, because I grew up majority of my family was all women.
Right.
I was raised by a single mom.
And I'm opposite.
Right. So when I was with my mom, it was all her sisters, my grandmother, my grandfather until he passed. And it was only me, Matt, and myself. Right. Whatever. But then on my dad's side, it was more so all male. So I got to see both sides. So I was with my dad and my uncles. I see how they interacted, and I see how my mom and them interact. So it was like, growing up, I kind of had to look at it from both sides. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, this is how you treat women. But then at the same time, this is how you kind of got to be as a male. Because I think we all do need to know how to be men in order to be in a relationship and to lead somebody. Okay. Especially another woman.
I feel that, but I also feel like as a woman, I do feel like, and I hate to say this, girls gonna get mad at me. I feel like women have unrealistic expectations for men right now, especially millennials. Yes, I feel like we have unrealistic expectations. Yeah. So,
I mean, like we was just saying, some of them want a guy that can provide all of this. They can't provide nothing, but they just want to move in. Yeah. And it's like, looking at it from what my mom would say, she would say, why would you want to marry a woman who has nothing? Why, if I created this life and built this house and built all of this, why do I want you to just move in? Yeah. And quote unquote, take care of the house after I'm out working and doing all of this or whatever, you know? Okay. But go ahead. What you think about that?
So for me, I don't believe in gender roles. I was raised by a man. And, I was raised by a whole bunch of uncles. So they have always taught me to be like, hey, there is nothing wrong with having a man to provide. But also in the same aspect, I have a lot of strong women in my family. They were saying like, but you should be able to take care of yourself. And like my biggest thought process with that is that if he loses his job, right, the pandemic, if it didn't show y'all anything, nothing is guaranteed. Right. So if he was to lose his job, would I be able to hold him down? Because we're a partnership, like relationship-wise, or were we going to be in a position in which that I would be able to support him financially through that struggle until he gets back on his feet? And for me, I know that you don't go into like a relationship thinking about, oh, this could happen or this could happen, but just realistically having a balance and a standard that if something happened on either end as a man or as a woman or whichever female, male to male, whatever, how you're dating those relationships. Right. It's just that, are you able to support your significant other, not only financially, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically? Yeah. Like, in that whole aura. So my thing is, like, you can't have, I know the Medea movies always talk about, what's the 80-20 rule? Yeah. Yeah. The 80-20 rule. So I don't know if that is a real thing, though.
I mean, all right, so let's look at it from a marriage perspective. I heard somebody say that when you get married, the whole thing, you heard in the movies, you complete me, you make me better. Mm-hmm. When realistically, you should be able to complete yourself and seek out your own spiritual guidance to feel your own voice. So then once you meet somebody else, you're not projecting and your voids in your life aren't trying to feel theirs and vice versa or whatever. Right. So two incomplete people cannot complete somebody. I heard who said that? Ooh, that's deep. Bishop T.D. Jakes said that. Okay. He said that. But yeah, two incomplete people cannot complete each other. So then I heard somebody say in a marriage, you go in and you think it's all 100%. Not necessarily, because in one season somebody could be 80 and then vice versa, they could be 20. So you just kind of shift and you have to be able to pick up the lack whichever one it is. So right now, you may be up. Mm-hmm. So it may be you and your significant other may be dependent on you, but who's to say 2 years from now, it may switch and you may have to do this or do that.
Right, vice versa. So let's talk about millennial dating. Because I'm not out here in these streets, but I be hearing these stories. Ooh, child. Ooh.
What makes you think I'm out here in the streets?
I didn't say that you was out here. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, like, I'm not out here because I got to, I have a significant other. I have a dude, so I'm not out here. But,
I'm not out here either.
Yeah, okay. Say whatever. But,
hey, man, my grandmother and mother listening to this, all right? But no, I'm not out here in the streets. But I could tell you a few things.
Yeah. So I just feel perspective-wise, what I'm hearing is just like some real
craziness.
Some craziness. I also hear some toxicity.
Yeah, it's very.
Is that a
toxic.
word? Did I make that up?
I don't think it is, but it's
okay.
yeah, it can be very toxic, but I think each generation can. I think it's more, we look at it because we're millennials right now, so growing up. So I'm sure back in our parents, our grandparents' days, I'm sure that they had their own toxic stuff too. Like, I could tell you stories that I heard about my great grandmother, how my great grandmother and great grandfather, before they first met, my great great grandmother didn't want them to meet. But my great grandmother would sneak out the house, and they lived in an apartment, so she'd sneak out the house to go see that. So I'm sure back in that time, that would be considered toxic. Like, I remember, so then for my grandparents, when my grandmother and grandfather got married, she would tell the story he robbed the cradle because she was 19 and he was 24 when they first met and got married.
Okay,
but now it's a little different.
I mean, so when I'm saying toxicity, I'm talking about like the going through phones.
Yeah, that happened.
I think that like I feel like millennial wise, we have normalized like it's okay to go through somebody's personal, private things. Like for me, I'm never going through his phone. I'm not. Right. I feel like if I gotta go through your phone, then we don't need to be together.
And you want to know my password?
Ooh, yeah, all right, so that's one of my biggest pet peeves, the passwords and going through the phones. It's like, because at the end of the day, and maybe this is just how I was raised, and of course, my dad was like, you ain't got to go through nothing. People going to do whatever they going to go do. Yeah. They don't need to hide it. They going to do it. They going to figure it out. Yeah. When we think about before social media and like before we was born, there was people who was having double families. And nobody ever knew about it. No, you hear them stories. My grandma, she told me about it. It was a guy who was married, never knew, and he would go on work trips. He wasn't going out of town for work. He was going to see his other family and telling them the same thing. Yeah. He had a double life. So I feel like people going to do whatever they're going to do. It doesn't mean that, if I got his password and I go through his phone or vice versa, I got her password or go through their phone, that they're not going to. Right. Because it is what it is.
I mean, so, and then, like we were saying earlier, at the same time, you still need to be able to fill your own voids. So if you think, and not to say that everybody is cheating, but if you don't have the password, if they don't have their phone and you want it, this and that, and they say no, that doesn't mean that they're cheating. It's just that they respect their own personal private space. Like for me, somebody asks me, oh, let me see your phone. I'm going to say, why? What do you need to see? Like, whatever you want to know, just ask me. I'm not going to lie. But I think that's one of the things where we have our own issues internally. Mm-hmm. So then we put it on other people. So you think, oh, well, if I hid my phone, that means that I was doing such and so or such and such. Or because they've done it before and they're just afraid that it's going to happen to them.
That's a good point. Or like, okay, so that's a good point. Or about posting on social media. Posting your significant other. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously, if you have a significant other, go ahead and do it, but don't expect it after me only knowing you for 3 months. Like, just give it some time.
I think
literally give it time.
I feel like the expectation is unrealistic sometimes with that.
I think all the expectations are unrealistic.
You think all the expectations are unrealistic?
Most of them, because and of course, again, in social media, I saw somebody on social media tweet. It was either Twitter or Instagram, and they said, after we've been talking for 1 week, I'm ready to go on vacation, and if you're not, no need for us to talk. Like,
do you think social media has kind of corrupted our mind? Like to think like these are real. Like I do see a lot of things you talk about like relationship goal, or I seen somebody post and it's not just somebody, it was a couple people. Maybe the Shade Room posted like, if you're not in love with me after 3 days, then you don't need me or something. I'm like, what? Yeah.
So I'm not the person to want to blame everything on social media, because I feel like before social media, people still had unrealistic expectations. So you saw it in TV shows, you saw it in movies, you saw what your friends had. Now, I think it's just easier for everybody to lie about it and then kind of try to prop it up. Yeah. So, like, it's easy for me to go take a picture in front of a Lamborghini that I see on the street. Yeah. And then say, yeah, I just spent the bag or something. And realistically, no, I was just walking past, or I just rented this car for a couple of days and this is what I'm doing.
Okay, so pause right there. Do you think money is the makeup for men? Do you think so? Going back to all these expectations, do you think that if a man is broke, then a woman won't date him? But if a woman is broke, a man will still date her?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I mean, yes, because and I listen to a whole bunch of other podcasters and on YouTube, and I don't always agree with everything, but the one thing that I do agree with is, it's a lot easier for y'all, meaning you may not have no money, but a guy that does have money, if he likes you, he can come find you and he'll date you. If I don't have no money and I see a woman over there that does, nah, she not gonna look my way.
My other question is, should you be dating if you ain't got no money?
Should you be dating if you ain't got no money?
If you don't have your stuff together, realistically, you was talking about being a complete person, right? Like being whole with yourself. Do you think that you should be dating people if you do not have your stuff together?
So wait, real quick. Let's define what it means to have money.
Ooh, okay. So I mean like a stable income. I don't mean, because I feel like we have this like persona or this thought that everybody's supposed to be rich, and that's just not real.
Yeah, everybody's not going to be rich at all.
Ever.
But no, so when you think about it, the general manager at McDonald's has a steady income.
Yeah, the general manager at McDonald's make $80,000 a year.
But it's McDonald's, so it gets frowned upon. But yeah, so I think, I think if you don't have your stuff together, no, you shouldn't be out there dating, because that just causes flack on everybody else. Your baggage, you need to. First, I don't think you should be in a relationship. I think you should still date, because I was always
define dating. Because I think that's where we're at right now too. People don't know we just dating or like being, just me and you. Like I'm just dating this person. I'm not dating other people. Because if you're dating, then technically you have the floor to date other people. Let's
not make it convoluted. So when I say dating, I say, all right, boom, me and you can go out Monday, we get a couple of drinks. Me and you can go do this, we go to the art museum or something.
Okay.
Me and you can go do this or do that. That's what I mean by dating.
Okay.
Then in a relationship, that means that I am solely focused on this person after I have dated these other people to see what it is that I like. Now, I'm not for being in one relationship and then turn around being in a whole nother completely relationship at the same time. Okay. Now, that's where I think people are kind of messed up. Or at least if you're, say that you're committed to being in this relationship and you are still playing the field, dating around. So that's what I mean. When I say dating, you have potential friends that could turn into more. That's what I mean by dating.
Okay.
And then to say that, so then it is okay. I would say it's okay if you're dating around and you don't necessarily have everything together. So yes, go ahead and date. But don't completely commit if you know that you're still trying to go through this. Unless this person that you're committing to understands everything and is there like, okay, I see your struggle. This is what we're going to do. This is how I'm going to help you. Or I'm going to allow you to figure it out on your own or something like that. That's what I think. But okay. So now how you feel?
I think I agree with your point. I do agree that, if you shouldn't commit to something unless you are like, hey, what's your expectation? I think that's where we kind of get mixed up at as well, that we don't put our expectations on the table. And I don't mean on a first date like, so what are you looking for? Right. No, I'm not saying that, just your expectation of how you treat me and the interaction and what else you got going on. Because once you start dating and you get into that, okay, I'm ready to be in a relationship part, then that's when that conversation comes up. I feel communication overall is a big part, but I really feel comprehension is more the biggest problem.
So then who's not comprehending?
I think it's on both sides. I honestly do. I do. I do. I think it's on both sides on a comprehension. I think that if I'm communicating to you something, but you don't comprehend, you don't know what we're talking about, you don't know, then we're not going to ever be on the same page.
I think it's back to what we've been talking about the entire episode, the unrealistic expectations that a lot of times come from the women. So like if I say I'm choosing to date, let's say it's 3 people, like I just said, and we're dating here. At least 2 out of those 3 are going to have the expectations that, okay, we building and we're going to get married, even though I said, hey, we're just dating right now. Okay. So I think the expectations, we need to say, hey, this is what it is. And then we need to be able to communicate in order for them to comprehend. Now, if they can't comprehend, you probably shouldn't be dealing with them anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, see, on the flip end.
Okay.
of that. I don't think that sometimes men communicate properly for women to comprehend. Because you just gave a good example. Like, let me know you date other people. That's fine. Because when I do what I do, it shouldn't be no problem.
See, now that's where we got the problem.
Oh, that's where we got the problem.
But no, so, and I'm joking, but there are some people who really like, okay, I'm going to date other people. You're going to stay at home and wait until I respond to your text message. Right. And it's kind of, and in the respect, I credit women now because when you look at it, like in the past, that's a lot what women did. Like you said, they had multiple families. And a lot of times I feel like they knew, but they didn't say or do anything. They just kind of let it happen.
Yeah.
So I at least credit women now for saying, okay, no, if you're going to be dating people, then I'm going to be dating people. Mm-hmm. And I think that, it's a communication thing. So obviously things evolve. Yeah. And I'm glad that it has evolved because I feel like everybody should be on the same playing field. At least be honest. Just tell me the truth. If it is what it is. If you want to date somebody else, if I tell you the truth,
can you handle the truth? And I think that's another thing we talk about because I know sometimes people ask questions, but you get upset with the answer. But you should have prepared yourself to have that answer, that response.
I mean,
like if I was example, me and you were dating, and I said, "Are you dating other women?" And you be like, "Yeah, I am," and I'm like, what do you mean? I thought, but it's like, I asked you that question. You're being honest with me. Now it's up to me to make that choice of, am I going to continue the situation or not? And then I feel like sometimes women feel, example, Future Hendrix, right? I love Future. I love Future because everybody think they can change Future, but nobody's changing unless they have to. I mean, not unless they have, unless they want to personally.
Unless they want to.
Nobody's going to change for another person.
But that's also
because that's fake.
That's also the trait of women, though.
How you say that?
Because y'all, on purpose, will date somebody that you probably know is not good for you with the expectation, false expectation again, of trying to change him. So, like, I feel like every woman at one point has gone through their bad boy stage. Yes. Where you know good and well, this dude is no good for you. He ain't gonna marry you.
I
he
can
ain't
salute
gonna do
that.
None of that.
I can salute that for sure.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all my time, effort, and energy into trying to change him. Now, the guy you probably should be with is the dude that's supporting you, that's saying, "Oh, you doing this," or "Okay, I can help you do that. I can help you do that." But what do you look at him as?
A dog.
No. The other guy.
Oh, he a good guy. He a square. He friend zoned.
He's friend zoned, but you gonna put him in the corner and then go chase after this dude who really is dating everybody and is not planning on marrying you at all.
So that goes back to the other point. When do you take accountability for the people that you date? Because you can't keep crying, "Woe is me," if you keep dating the same people with the same traits.
Yeah.
You know, so I know, like, for me, when I was dating, before I was dating, you know, my significant other, I would date the same guys. Like, they played basketball, they was popular. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted popular basketball players, and that's the guys that I went for. And then when I got my heart broke or something bad happened, it was like, I can't believe they did this to me. It's like, no, so you put yourself back in that same situation, and then, like, again.
And then, so then I go back to you had the question earlier, how you said, do you think social media? I don't say social media influenced everything. Because when you look at it in, like, the black community, for the black girl, you got to date the popular basketball guy. They created an entire movie off of it, and it was called Love and Basketball. Created an entire movie off of it. So I think it was kind of, again, influence from movies, TV, social media. So I think it's a lot of things, societal impacts that kind of say, hey, this is who you need to date. That's who you need to date. Because even when I was younger, I thought, and I don't think this now, I just want to put that disclaimer out there before I say it. Yeah, I've grown up. I don't think this anymore, but I used to always think that the only women I ever wanted to date would be a light-skinned girl. Like, legit. That's the only person I ever, but now that I've grown up, I'm like, that's a little biased to my own other black women. Okay. And I got other women in my family that aren't all just light skinned. Some are dark skinned, some are brown. So
that's a good topic because here we go. I'm for black love.
Right.
I love black love. I
Right.
love seeing two black people together.
Right.
And unionship and joyfulness. And euphoria. I love it. I love to see it.
Right.
And since we're talking about expectations and dating, I don't have a problem with interracial dating. You know, you can date whoever you want. But we always had this conversation. This is going to be, we talked about this going to be a little sticky subject. That conversation, I don't date black women because from your own black brothers.
Right.
You tell me about your thoughts. Because for me, before you answer this question, for me, it's like I said, we all got a preference. Mm-hmm. I prefer to date somebody taller than somebody shorter, and that's fine. But to verbally voice that continuously and saying that I don't date black women, or black women got an attitude, or they not gonna put up their expectations. Like how do you feel like? Or I do think too that with other races, the expectation for what they will accept from a woman is lower.
Yes, because from like certain other cultures, they do, and women will continue to follow. They're going to stay home. They're going to cook. They're going to take care of the house.
Yeah,
and they're going to do that. Black women, not going to do that at all.
Or we mouthy.
I mean, I'm not saying it, but
you see the air quotes, we mouthy.
I'm not saying it, but no. But personally for me, that's what I like. I like the challenge. I told you I grew up with women, and my family, they're not all lovey-dovey. Yeah. You've been around my family, and I can say
your mom is strong.
We a little sharp. We're a little sharp. We tell my grandmother all the time, you can't say that. She's like, why? Because I didn't. It's just the way that she says stuff.
Yeah,
and out of everybody else, she's the motherly one. But yeah, I've grown up around that. But for other guys, black guys, to say that they don't want to date black women, it's a preference thing. I understand it. I can see it from a point of view. But, I mean, honestly, I don't want to just say it is what it is, but I don't want to concern myself with that because it's probably, again, their own issues, voids in their life that they need to be filled. Because it could possibly be that they had a terrible relationship with their mom or a terrible relationship with their sister.
Okay.
Or somebody like that.
See, with that being said, though, I think that, but like I said, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't think you should voice that out loud. I feel like if that's what you like, that's fine. But I don't think you need to demean your black sister or the black mother who raised and birthed you and say, I'm not gonna date a person who looks like me. That's fine. Like if you don't want to date, that is fine.
Right.
But then that goes back to our beginning topic, bringing it full circle. Black women are not getting married because we are on the charts that say we are the least desirable people next to Asian men. Asian men are the least desirable, and black women are the least desirable to every race.
I don't believe that. I think that's a lie.
Well, that's what the stats saying.
That's what the stats
That's what
say,
the U.S. Census. The U.S. Census. If you look that up, that's what they're saying.
The U.S. lie. I don't.
The U.S. lie.
I don't agree with that one because when you think about it, all black men are wanted by all types of women in other
But black
cultures.
men are looked at as exotic, like everybody else are looked at. But black women are not looked at as exotic.
I think they are. I think that they are.
That's because you're biased, because you like black women.
I like everybody. No, I like everybody. But no, I see what you're saying, but no, I don't want to say that you're the least desirable. I would at least say that there are some people that feel like maybe they can't. You guys are unapproachable. So like if there's let's say a white guy, he's kind of more of on the nerdy side, and he like somebody like you, he'll probably feel intimidated to approach you because because of the fact that for whatever, he just feels like, oh, I don't know, she seems a little rough, a little this, a little that, but everything is good though. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but yes, I can be biased towards black women.
Yes, in a good way.
In a good way. In a good way.
All right, y'all. So this is the end of our podcast. We're gonna stay on live for just a little bit. I see a couple of y'all had some questions about some different things. But thank you for joining in. We'll be back in 2 weeks to finish up our last season and then get it poppin'. Thanks for joining.
I'll see y'all later.